Hey, it's Matt coming at you. I've been getting a lot of questions on how do we prepare for recession, and recessions are the single best time in history to invest your money. And if you know what you're doing, you can make a lot. So in this video, I'll tell you how to prepare for a recession and more importantly, how to profit from one. Stay tuned. So if you don't know what a recession is, it's probably one of the worst times in the economy basically. We have unemployment historically high. Corporate earnings can be bad. We can have inflation sometimes. Maybe even interest rates are sky high. And recessions are just a terrible, terrible time in the economy. And this is a time where nobody really has money. Nobody has money to buy things or invest, so it's a very tough time. So if you think about supply and demand, if nobody has any money to invest or buy real estate, then the demand is going to be very low. Everyone probably bought a house for more than they can afford, and they're probably defaulting at this point. In this case, supply is high and we have demand being very low, so you're going to get very good deals in the real estate market. You're going to get good deals in the stock market because, like I said, people just don't have money in recessions to put it into those places. So you're going to see stocks trading at the best valuations you're probably ever going to see in your lifetime. So if you can pick up these stocks, pick up houses during this time, you're going to be incredibly wealthy if you hold on to those for 5 or 10 years after that. So hopefully I sold you on the investing aspect in a recession. So basically everything's super cheap. It's like you're going to a clearance sale if one store is going out of business. You're going to get things for 70-80% off. That's the same thing that can happen in the stock market and in the real estate market. So hopefully I sold you on the fact that it is the best time to invest. And now I'm going to prepare you to tell you how to get ready for the recession, and then number 2, how to profit from it. But I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice, just telling you what I've learned in my life so far. So you probably know right now we've experienced the most historical bull market in the history of the economy, and this just means that the economy is running very well. It's running on all cylinders. So the chance of us having a recession is pretty high the longer we put this off, and the chance of it being a bad recession is pretty good too, just because we haven't had any real pullback or any real bad thing happen to our economy in a very long time. So hopefully the looming recession and the fact that we're going to see discounts pretty soon also gets you excited to see this video. So if you're excited to learn about what to do in a recession, please like and subscribe to this channel. I'll greatly appreciate it. I'll give you 2 seconds to do that. 1, 2, thank you. So there's some very strong evidence of a recession around the corner, and we have not seen these signs in a long time. So I just want to talk about them really quickly to let you know that it's very possible we see a recession soon, with sign number 1 being we just experienced the longest bull market in history. I know I just told you that, but in the last year we have also experienced a 10% correction and a 20% correction. So the stock market, for the first time in the last 10 years, has pulled back to that amount, and we've done it twice in the last year. So the market is showing weakness out of nowhere. This could be trade war stuff, it could be inflation, it could be interest rates. There's a lot of reasons why people are selling very quickly. So if any of this news creeps up again, I really think we could see more selling come in the market, which could just continue and lead to that bear market or recession. So we are seeing huge selling popping in randomly. So that's one sign that leads me to believe a recession could come around the corner. And then the next sign I see is that inflation rates are creeping up. The Fed has been raising interest rates very slowly over the last 5 years, but at the rate they're raising them, it's actually increasing too. So they're actually having more rate hikes per year, which shows that they want to slow down the economy, because what happens when interest rates are raised is that the economy can't borrow as much money, and the Fed is actually doing that to slow down the economy. So they're doing it on purpose. They don't want the economy to overheat, and that is one sign that the market's coming to a top, or that we could experience a drawback or recession. So interest rates keep flying up, and that is one thing to be a little bit scared about. And that is my second sign that we may have a recession coming relatively soon. And then the third sign is that the global economy, meaning all the economies around the world, are not doing that great. We have most economies with interest rates at 0 or lower, which is not a sign of a healthy world economy. And our interest rates are probably the highest out of all economies in the world. So what you want to look for the health of different economies is their debt and their interest rates. And we don't really have high interest rates all around the world. So if anything terrible happens, you really can't bail out these economies by dropping the interest rates, because their interest rates are pretty much at zero, so virtually zero right now. So those are the three big reasons why I see a recession coming relatively soon. I'll go over them really quickly again. One, we've had some pretty big selling come into the market almost unnoticed. 10% drops, 20% drop, and we also have interest rates slowly creeping up. So number two, interest rates slowly creeping up, and that's going to slow down the economy just because we can't borrow as much money for these big companies. And number three is the global economies look very weak. Their interest rates are very low, so there's a very low chance they can bail out themselves in any economic downturn. And this is probably why you came here, is how do we prepare for this recession that is imminent and probably in the next year or two. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm sorry for delaying this, but the one thing you want to do right away is have cash, or have some way of getting cash, passive income every month, because that cash you're going to be able to invest when things are at cheap prices, real estate, stocks, all that stuff. So if you're invested in the market too heavily right now, let's say you're 100% in stocks, that is a red flag in my opinion, because if the stocks drop 50%, you have no money to put into the market. But let's say you're only 80% in stocks, you're 20% in cash. At that point, if we get a 50% drop, you put 20% of your money into the market, and now you bought everything at a great deal. You averaged your cost of those stocks down, and now you own things a lot cheaper than you did before, which is a great feeling. But now let's say you're 50% in cash or 100% in cash. You can see the opportunity right there, because if you're all cash, you just buy everything at a deal. You wait a couple years after that, and you're going to have these great returns instead of these great drops in the market. But the risk of transitioning to cash or going full cash is that you're going to miss out on opportunities if the market keeps going up, because we've had a bull market for longer than anyone has predicted it was going to go up. So if you thought a recession was going to happen 5 years ago, you would have missed out on a ton of gains. So that's why it's good to be partially invested into a market, or maybe fully invested and then just sell when it drops a certain amount. I don't know, I'm not a financial advisor, but there's a lot of things you can do. And then the second thing you want to do to prepare for a recession is not be over leveraged. So let's say you just bought a nice new car that's $1,000 a month payment, and let's say you got a house at the same time, which I honestly did. I'm over leveraged right now, and I'm banking on my income streams paying for it all. But I am at risk of what I'm telling you right now, and that's something I'm fully aware of. So I'm just going to be straight honest with you. So basically, I got a house and a car, and they give me payments each month. And the risk of being over leveraged in a recession is if you get fired from your job, you don't have the money to pay for these things. And if we're in a recession, it's going to be very hard to get a job, because not many companies are going to have the money to hire you. So if you don't make money for 3 months, can you pay those bills? 6 months, can you pay those bills? I hope we're not unemployed for 6 months at a time, but it could happen in a recession. These recessions can last up to 8 months to a year. So if we don't have a job for that long, can you pay those bills? If you can't, you're going to have to lose your car. You're going to have to lose your house. That's one of the biggest fears I have for people in recessions, because when things are going well in an economy, all they do is take out more debt. They buy more things. They put things on credit cards. And that is what turns the economy upside down when things start going poorly. So people lose their jobs, companies start cutting pay, companies start cutting employees, and then they can't pay their bills, and that's what tanks the economy. And that's what makes it do worse. So you can't be over leveraged prior to a recession, or really any time in your life for that matter. So even in a recession, if you're over leveraged, anything can happen to the point, like I said, where you lose your job for 3 months to 6 months, and you need to find some way to pay those bills. So right here is the single best advice I can give you in terms of how to prepare for a recession. So if you take this advice right here, it will take care of the problem number one I told you about of having all your money in the market, and problem number two of not being able to pay your bills because you're over leveraged. So if you can do this one thing, it'll take care of any problem you're really going to have in a recession. And that is, can you create passive income? Because passive income is always a money stream that comes to you. And in recessions, maybe the money that comes to you is a little bit less than before, but passive income can pay those bills that you need to be paying every month. It can also help you invest into the market at cheap prices. So if I'm getting $100 a month, in 10 months, I could have $1,000 to invest into the stock market, which is $1,000 more than I would have if I didn't have a passive income stream. And that money into a recession could 10x in 10 years or 5x in 5 years. It could go a lot further than it would in a bull market. So super, super important to create some passive income streams, because that is going to help you through any recession, no matter what problem comes about. If you have the skills to do that, you're going to be much better off in the future too. If you want 17 passive income streams, just click the video to the top right. I put out content all the time on how to create passive income, and it's so important for people to do. If you want 4 of the easiest passive income streams, I'll just put that video up there too. And that was the 3 ways to prepare for a recession. I'm just going to go over them really quickly. Number 1, just don't have all your money into the market. Have some money that you can invest when things go poorly, or maybe you see a great deal pop up. So it's always good to have % cash in your portfolio, because cash is still a position, as they say. If the market goes up, you missed out on 20%, but if the market goes down, you missed out on losing 20%. So it goes in both ways, honestly. So the other thing, number 2, is that you don't want to be over leveraged in your life with loans, credit card debt, all that stuff, houses, cars. And then number 3 is the key to getting rid of all those other problems, is create passive income. Passive income is going to allow you to really profit from a recession, profit from any downturn where everything is trading cheaply. So you want to have cash to buy things at discount. And passive income is really going to make this possible. So the next thing I'm going to talk about, please stick around, this is going to be great, is how to profit from a recession. So now that we have passive income, now that we know we're in a good financial place in a recession, how do we make money from it? And the number one thing people never do, buy when there's blood in the streets, or buy when people are fearful, because when the market is tanking, every news article is negative, that it's going to continue to go down, that the economy is going to do this or that, or the world economy is going to shit. So if you can get over the fact that everything is negative and still buy, that is the key to a recession. It's just buying great things at a discount. And that's the second key. You have to find those great things, because everything's going to be at a discount. And if you can get over the fear of buying it when people are freaking out, then you're really going to do well. But now is the key. What do we buy? What do we look for? And this is where it comes down to knowing the right people or having the right knowledge. So which real estate property do I buy? Or which stock do I buy? And there's a lot of things you can look for, but the number one thing you should be looking for in the stock market is stocks that pay you. I talked about this in my video a couple days ago, which I'm going to link to the top right corner too. It's basically, what's the best investment? So best investment is a company that cares about you. In a recession, a company that cares about you is probably going to be a commodity company. So something that people use every day. Think about Kraft Heinz. Think about airlines. People that might not fly as much, but they're always going to need airlines in the future. Coca-Cola, cigarettes, people always use these no matter what the economy is doing. They might buy less, but they're still using them. So the best investments in general, forget about a bear market or recession, are companies that pay you, companies that have products that people need every day, every month, every year. And these companies can be found everywhere in the market. Warren Buffett has literally a portfolio of all these companies. You can just copy his investments and buy these stocks when they're at a discount. So that's my best advice on where to put your money in a recession, because I'm a big stock guy. I know the stock market really well. You should be looking to put your money into companies that care about you, pay you, and have products people need. And other than that, real estate, not the biggest real estate guy, but I know if you just get a fixer-upper property in a good city with some good growth, maybe something that has shown that it has appreciated in a bull market or a good economy, if you get something like that and hold it and rent it for a long time, I think that's one of the best investments too, because real estate really tanks when recessions happen. Nobody can buy properties, nobody can get loans for them. So it's a really great investment because there's less competition for it. And like I said, if you can rent it, number one, if you can rehab it, number two, and lastly, if you can buy in a place that appreciates historically, then you're going to be golden for that. So those are the two best investments in a recession. Like I said, stocks and real estate. People are not going to have the money to buy these things. So if you can have some passive income that allows you to get things at a discount, it's going to be a great time for you. And I'm super grateful I could share this information because I personally am very excited about a recession. I'm very excited about buying things at discounts and holding them for the rest of my life. And you should be too. And I'm glad you learned about this. And if you want more videos on passive income, like I said, I got 2 videos to the left of me. They are the 17 best passive income streams and then the 4 easiest passive income streams. If you want to trade with me personally 7 days for free, link below that. Matt signing off. Peace.